Okay, we're back. A special weekend edition of IJ Subito. We're going to talk about the Verona match briefly, and then, of course, focus on the forthcoming Barcelona match on Tuesday. I'm your host, Andrew. I've got Mikko and Jay with me. Mikko, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Happy to discuss probably mostly about Barcelona, but of course we had a game yesterday, so I guess we're gonna talk about that as well. But yeah, let's go.
So I'm on vacation right now in Tokyo. So I'm basically in Jay's time zone. And after waking up at 4 a.m. to watch possibly the most boring football match of all time with a 1-0 Inter win, I have to say, Jay, I understand your general psychology towards this football club, knowing that you do this basically every match.
For over 20 years as well, so you can see that the psychological impact it's taken on me and my life and my family, and I hope my early demise at 43 years old will be worth it.
The most confounding thing is that staying awake is close to impossible when you have a match as poorly played as this match was. Verona generated one shot on goal. We had maybe 2 chances total in the match. The penalty we won was, I don't want to call it a joke, but unconvincing. You have to give it. But let's be real, that wasn't a goal-scoring opportunity. It was just overall a terrible match to watch, Mikko.
Yeah, I just looking at the stats and the expected goals excluding penalty. For us, it was 0.56. So I think that tells everything about the match. And yeah, even I was watching it, like not focusing it 100%, but doing other things at the same time. And well, it was nice. We got the goal early. Penalty, it was a bit weak, but like you said, you gotta give it because Frattesi was going to the ball, and he probably would have get somewhere. So what can you do? After that, there wasn't much of anything. I'm looking. There were 2 big chances for Inter. One was the penalty, of course. I don't remember the other one, but like you said, there were 2 shots on goal by us. One by Verona, as you said as well. We kept them at bay, and I think it was kind of a professional performance by the team. And by the team, I wanna kind of emphasize that the team was indeed a total B team by us, which I was very happy to learn when I saw the starting lineup. We discussed in the previous episode that we want to see like a full bench team here, and okay, we didn't see the kids playing. That was unreasonable to expect that Inzaghi would do that, but at least he really used all the bench guys, and kind of didn't use our maybe the most important players at all, Varela, Bastoni, Dumfries, Thuram. They didn't play a single minute, so for me that's the biggest positive out of this match, on top of the 3 points, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was nervous pre-match because in the days leading up to this game, you saw Sky publishing lineups under which Thuram was starting. That was the last thing I wanted to see, given how much we're going to have to rely on him against Barcelona. So, thrilled we ran out the B team. Gazzetta called this, or is calling this, the 1% Scudetto. Our odds of winning this thing are low right now. So to do the job with a bunch of reserves good enough. I will say, so refreshing knowing I only have to watch Correa 3 more times in an Inter jersey, 3 more league matches. The dude is abysmal. Irfan specifically requested that we talk about Aslani's performance. So let's do that. I will summarize Aslani's performance by saying this. Zalewski, man of the match, right, Jay?
I think this should be one of those occasions where the man of the match award is withheld out of a lack of deserving candidates. But all jokes aside, I mean, it was, Aslani was a 6 out of 10 in a sea of 5s and 5.5s out of 10. So he deserves it, and he scored the penalty. So that game was played with all the attention that the players were giving the game behind the scenes. That is to say, absolutely nothing. It's clear that the coach, the fans, the players, everyone has more than one eye on the upcoming Barcelona game. And this game was nothing but an unwanted, mandatory distraction. And thankfully, we got it out of the way. Thankfully, we came out unscathed, no injuries, relatively little energy and effort spent. Fuck Arnautovic. After a handful of decent games, he's gone back to being a whiny, petulant bitch, throwing the water bottle when he got subbed off after a dismal performance. I will be, like yourself, Andrew, I'm counting down the days until I no longer have to see these absolute fuckwits, Arnautovic, Correa, and Taremi. So let's move on past this game and to to what everyone is here for.
So the thing we're most curious about ahead of Tuesday is going to be the fitness of Lautaro. I assumed there was absolutely no chance he's playing in this match, and I'm still doubtful he's going to play in this match. But as you look at the reports that are trickling in, there are people reporting that there's a chance he's available for this match. We know Taremi is likely going to get the start. If anything, Lautaro would be available off the bench. So that's the biggest area of focus. The other decision that needs to be made is whether or not Augusto starts at left wing back. Of course, Augusto is the one who settled things down last week after DeMarco made a mess of things. DeMarco didn't play nearly as much. I don't believe DeMarco played yesterday. Augusto pretty much played the entire match. That would lead me to believe that we're going to see DeMarco start at left wing back. Mikko?
Augusto played the full match. DeMarco came in at he played like 20 minutes.
Right.
So anyway, like you said,
what do you think, Mikko? Like, do you think that means DeMarco is starting on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what's gonna happen, and I don't think it's a bad choice, despite what happened in the first half in the previous match.
Okay, explain this.
Yeah, I believe that we try to contain maybe Yamal differently. Maybe we put even more focus on him to not let him face DeMarco one-on-one, because it's very difficult to kind of defend against him in one-on-one in those type of situations DeMarco had. And the second thing is, I feel that if we start with Augusto and then maybe we have to take him out and bring in DeMarco, that will kind of put us in a situation where we need to defend with DeMarco there instead of Augusto, while Augusto is a lot better defender than DeMarco. And possibly we need to go to extra time with DeMarco, and I feel that DeMarco's fitness levels in general, even when he's fully fit, but especially now when he doesn't seem to be like a top-notch condition, I feel that Augusto would give us more if we go to extra time later in the match. So that's why I feel that it is the kind of the right order between these two. And maybe it also gives, I don't know, I haven't thought about this, like, would it give more options if Augusto is on the bench? And I don't know, well, let's not go there. But anyway, I feel that's the correct order. We probably want to try to attack a bit more from the start. DiMarco maybe provides more there. He's good. He's good at set pieces and so on. I feel that's the right way to go, especially now that Inzaghi made the choice of kind of use Augusto here for the whole 90 minutes. That kind of tells the decision, at least for me, already.
Yeah, and if you're able to go out and get a lead, put the pressure on Barca early, get a lead, then having Augusto available off the bench is a stroke of genius. But if you fall behind, then you have a much lesser attacking threat who you're going to be bringing on in the match, because you know DiMarco and his smoker's lung is not playing 90 minutes. So it just puts a lot of responsibility on the team to get an early goal.
Yeah, but I think Augusto, if we are trailing behind later in the match, then Augusto he can run still. He is good in set pieces. He's a strong physical player. He's got a bunch of header goals. I think it's the it's the correct way to do it that way. How do you feel, Jay, about this wingback situation?
All right, maybe we lost Jay for a second. I'll talk just real quickly, Mikko, about you mentioned set pieces, and we scored obviously 2 of our goals from set pieces last week against Barca. Are you worried at all about our goal scoring capabilities? Like, everyone talks about the Barca high line, and we did create a lot of chances. The Mkhitaryan offside, the DiMarco shot with his right foot that didn't go anywhere. Like, there were plenty of opportunities for us to score goals, but still, 2 of them did require set pieces. Like, are you nervous at all about our ability to generate chances against this Barca team?
I'm not. I feel that their defensive structure is it will bring us chances. Although I'm fairly confident they won't play like they played in the last match, since that seemed a bit like a suicidal at the times, and maybe they play a bit lower line, but still I feel that our like we discussed in the previous episode, I think if we are able to kind of utilize the situation better when we have the ball in the midfield and then we have the wingbacks running at the correct time, they need to be on sync. I feel that we can punish them. I'm not kind of, how do I say it? We've been struggling kind of scoring or converting chances. We've got a bunch of goals this season, like a lot of goals, but still, like we discussed in this podcast, we are kind of wasting chances as well. And maybe this is the opponent we aren't usually playing against, like this type of opponent with this type of defending. So that's why I feel there will be space, and we will be like even more prepared to play against their defense. But I would also want to emphasize that set pieces are kind of they are not a joke in a sense that they are real goals we score from, and like we've proven already, we scored 2 against Bayern, we scored 2 against Barcelona. Like they are a real thing, and if they can't defend against properly against those set pieces, they become kind of a real scoring chance. Even if, well, I don't know what are the on average chances from corners, for example, but I would say our chances are higher than on average, and especially against teams like Barcelona, who seem to have a bit of trouble with maybe not that physical players on their side. So I'm not super concerned, but of course the conversion rate, if we play background and outside of set pieces, it needs to be it needs to be there on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't want to diminish the ability we have to score goals off set pieces. It's just, it's not always reliable. It's not always, it's not something you can always produce. Like, there are more, like when you look at the way like Barça plays through Yamal or whatever, like it's a more consistent playing style that they can continually go through over the course of the match and like generate chances from. Whereas getting set pieces requires a little something extra. We need to, one, have the ball. We need to manage to actually sustain some sort of possession in Barca territory to like generate the chance. And you just fear that if they start doing their, pass it around laterally, we can't press, we can't break up play, they can really bleed a game out. What do you guys think? So it feels like Lewandowski is going to be available and he'll be starting for Barca this week. Maybe not have a full 90 in him, but he's going to be playing. What do you guys think he changes from a tactic standpoint from the first leg?
I think there's a small chance that it could work in our favor better, because I'm inclined to think that a Cherby and a defense is better with tall, more stagnant target men type players like Haaland, for example, than they are with shorter, more agile, nimble players who are going to receive the ball further out and run at our defense. So that's just one thought I had. I could be wrong, but hopefully if it goes that way, then that is the case. But obviously, regardless of, even if that were true, it can never hurt Barcelona to have one of the greatest number 9s of all time, coming back into the team. So either way, it's dangerous for us.
Yeah, that's a good point. In the previous episode, I mentioned that I fear kind of the new dimension they will get with Lewandowski there. They can throw the crosses in, and Lewandowski is kind of the threat. Okay, they scored from a cross, like a half cross, in previous match as well. But having Lewandowski there as a target, I think it's I don't like that idea. But yeah, that's a good point. That in general, a Cherby kind of fares better against these type of forwards. So it's interesting to see. I also don't believe Lewandowski will start, but are there some reports that he will be available? I haven't seen those reports yet.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything definitive, but I've seen a few people on Twitter saying it's 50-50 whether or not he's going to be available.
All right.
And then the other key absence for Barca is Balde, who went off injured. during the first leg. It sounds like he's definitely missing this match. And then, of course, Pavard for us, we think is going to be out. Haven't really heard any updates. It sounds like he might be available off the bench.
Yeah, it wasn't Balde who went off. It was Jules Koundé who went off, and he's going to be out. And I just read that also Balde will be out. Isn't Balde there like a left back? And
Right.
Koundé is the right back.
Yeah, Balde was injured from even before the first leg. So
yeah,
there are reports he'll be back. But again, if he hasn't played any minutes since before the first leg, then hopefully some rustiness even if he does play. But to that extent, Dumfries and Thuram were both injured and made their return against Barcelona with big impacts. So you can never discount a player because they're returning from injury. But we'll have to wait and see. Look, just going back to what Mikko was saying about the fullback situation, I think that's the obvious intention from Inzaghi to start Dimarco, and I think it's the right move to make. Obviously, you've got the greater attacking output of Dimarco, not just his attacking contribution from open play, but his dead balls as well. And Dimarco's, as everyone knows, Dimarco is a guy with a limited gas tank. You can just use him up and then replace him with Carlos Augusto, and that's as good a backup as you'll find anywhere. And, I think Carlos Augusto is actually more important to us right now than Dimarco. And I was saying this the other day, but I can really see us defending a lead, like late into the game. And so, you'd prefer Augusto for that than Dimarco, right? So having Augusto as a fresh and capable backup to bring off the bench to see out the game and try and lock down a, hopefully, tired Yamal is, I think, part of the game plan, and it's something I agree with.
About Barcelona's lineup, they tried to rotate their guys yesterday against Valladolid, who's like the absolutely worst team in La Liga, and tactic kind of failed. They were 1-0 in a losing position at halftime. They had to actually bring in Yamal already at 40th minute or something because of injury, and then they had to bring in Rafinha and De Jong, and was it Torres as well? Torres wasn't playing, but anyway, Rafinha came in at halftime. Frankie De Jong came in at halftime, and they eventually won the match. But I guess Hansi Flick's idea was the same as Inzaghi's, that don't use these starters, but they had to do it eventually. They have even more kind of important situation in their league position, since Real is trailing them, so they really need to get all the points needed. Also about their defense line, as said, they are missing their starting like wing backs or left back and right back, and they're gonna. I saw that they're gonna go with Eric Garcia and then Kubarsi, and who's the Araujo is probably, I don't know how to pronounce it, Araujo. Gonna go with the center backs, and then Inigo Martinez will be the left back. So it's going to be the different left back now compared to last match. I don't know who was the guy. Was it? Let me check first. Who was the Martin? Martin was the guy. Gerard Martin was the guy who played against Dumfries last match.
Yeah, the guy who Dumfries took his lunch money.
Yeah. So I believe Martinez is probably a better defender, but I don't know about his offensive abilities. But yeah, they have a bit of injury troubles as well.
Yeah, not surprising, given all these matches every team has to play. Okay, well, here we go. Let's do some predictions. Jay, lead us off.
I think we're going to take the lead and defend. And then I think Lewandowski comes off the bench to score 2 goals to break into hearts, especially our fans, for a 2-1 Barcelona victory.
I was expecting you to predict us to lose on penalties, so this is slightly surprising, albeit the same outcome.
All right.
Mikko?
Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna have to be on team Irfan in this one, so let's go with a 2-1 Inter, but at extra time. So we're gonna take the lead, and Lewandowski will equalize at the end, but then we will prevail by Augusto winner at the end.
I was revisiting my recent predictions for Inter matches. I predicted we would beat Milan 3-0 in the Coppa Italia semifinal. We lost 3-0. I predicted we would beat Roma 1-0. We lost to Roma 1-0. And I predicted that we would lose 3-0 to Barcelona in the first leg, and we drew them 3-3. So the primary lesson to be learned here is you should ignore everything I say and instead listen to Mikko and Jay. But just for the sake of the vibe,
now you gotta be careful what you predict now.
Don't do just for the sake of the vibes, I need to go strong here and predict a 2-0 Barcelona victory.
Let's take that.
We'll see if history holds up. Hopefully it does. All right. We don't normally do a Jay's hot betting tips on Subitos, but Jay's usually not here. So Jay, just give us a 2-minute Arsenal PSG, or actually I think you covered that last episode, right? You gave us an Arsenal winner. So
I
maybe
did.
A Fiorentina Conference League hot betting tip.
Right. So Fiorentina are down 2-1 against Real Betis and play their return leg. I'm going to say Gosens gets sent off early in the first half, and Betis, inspired by Anthony, run through them 3-0 at the Artemio Franchi. But ultimately, it's a moot point because Chelsea are winning the Conference League. I think this year it's going to be an English treble, Arsenal Champions League. Obviously, one of Man United or Tottenham for the Europa League, and then Chelsea for the Conference. You know, it's just England's world, and we're all living in it.
Obviously, football is not the most popular sport in Japan. It is lower down the sports food chain. I will say of the football kits I've seen here, it's been exclusively English ones. I've seen one Arsenal and one Liverpool. So, yes, England's world. All right, we'll wrap there. We'll be back with depending on how things go on Tuesday, we'll either have a Subito or a full episode. We will catch you all then. Irfan, hopefully you're having fun in Milan and enjoy the game on Tuesday. Mikko, take us away.
Forza Inter, Forza Bologna.
All right, see you guys later.